Alright, so we should be at a point now where we're ready to put the finishing touches on our pinch pot. And that would be adding some texture or decoration. Now, notice how hard the pinch pot is. It's not, I can handle it and the shape isn't changing, right? It's leather hard. So it's the great time to add texture, to carve, to stamp. Now, the first thing I'm doing is I'm going to make a pattern. And to make it even, I'm just scratching a little guideline. So I'm always starting from the same point, right? That will keep my pattern even as opposed to kind of guessing every time. So this is a wire tool, a loop tool. Now you won't, I'll show you how to do the same thing, only with a paperclip. But I'm just trying to carve nice even strokes in there. Starting off maybe not quite as deep as I could be going. Right, so that's one way to add some texture to carve. And if you happen to have kind of a thick bowl, a thick pot, this would be a chance that you could really carve some deep texture in there. It might make your pot interesting as well as taking some of the weight away. Now here's another thing we can do. This is just taking the rounded end of in this case, a large paintbrush, just to add some dots on there. Really simple things look good. If you can find something simple to press in there to create a shape and you repeat that pattern evenly and carefully, it's going to look good. I'm going to add something on the bottom as well, I think. There we go. So I've got kind of a regular pattern here. Got a stripe, a dot, and a stripe repeating around. And make sure you carve in enough so that texture is going to come through after we glaze it. We don't want any sharp edges, so just taking a damp finger, getting rid of any burrs. It's going to help out a lot. Let's see, what else can we do for textures? One thing I sometimes like to do is to use the shape of the tools themselves. So in this case, I'm going to get in, kind of sketch my starting point in there again. Right, I'm just going to press. Right, so you could use anything you find around the house that's going to leave a nice impression and create a texture that way. So just kind of stamping that in there, you can get an interesting texture. Because this is leather hard, right, your texture will hold its shape. Right, every time you touch it, it's not going to warp or get damaged. It'll stay there for you, which is super nice. Yeah, I think I do one more thing here. So now I'm taking a wood tool. Now you could do this with, say, a spoon, a knife. And I'm going to stamp, I'm going to make flowers. So if you think of each of those shapes as a petal, right, I can get a flower pattern in there. And then using the end of a marker. Boom. There we go. I'm going to repeat that. Now I'm doing a pretty regular even pattern. You certainly don't have to do that. You could, vary it a little more. Let's see how that turned out. Not bad. That's going to come through nice. And finally, just taking another wood tool, any flat piece of wood, putting some zigzags in there. So you can really be creative with your patterns. Look around the house, grab a nail. They have some interesting screw heads. Look around the kitchen. What can you find to press a pattern or to carve a pattern? If you find anything interesting, share that with the class, right? Let's pass on some of these ideas. Ooh, yeah, diamond shape. There we go. Instead of just a zigzag, if the zigzags connect. Diamonds. Classic. All right, so have fun with this. Take your time, add some nice textures. Once you've got your texture added, you're going to go over the whole thing again just to make sure there's no burrs. Just tidy things up, tidy, and then you let it dry. You should be pretty much done. Round that lip out. Take one last look at the foot, and you're ready to go. There we go. Come on. There it is.